Let me tell you something about the way my brain works. People think I'm ignoring them or staring at them, depending on the day. But the truth is simpler than that. My mind is a one-lane highway. If I'm driving, I'm driving. If I'm listening, I'm listening. I don't divide my attention, I dedicate it. When I'm behind the wheel, the road has my full custody. I'm paying attention to the rearview mirror, the side mirrors, everything in front of me. I'm listening for emergency vehicles. I'm watching for little kids darting out in front of the car. I'm watching for cars that suddenly stop. The road has 100% of my attention. That's how I drive. So when someone is in the car with me as a passenger, chatting away, I can hear them speaking, but I'm not listening to them. My focus is on the road. And then they get upset and say, "Why aren't you listening? Did you hear me?" And I say, how many times do I have to keep telling everybody in this car? Don't talk to me while I'm driving, I'm trying to focus. If it's an emergency like turn left here or there's a yard sale up ahead, that's different. But if you're having a regular conversation with me while I'm driving, I'm not paying attention to you. That's how I learn. That's how my brain works. And when it really matters, I will literally look in my rearview mirror, check for any cars behind me, turn on my right signal, pull over to the side of the road, put the car in park, turn and look at my friend and say, "Now you have my undivided attention." And they say, "Why did you pull over?" And I say, "Because you have to understand. I cannot listen to you, talk to you, and drive at the same time, unless it's an emergency." Now, not everybody's brain works like that. One time when I was in California, I was in this cab. The cab driver, who obviously was a professional cab driver, that's the only way I can describe him, was in the front seat doing something I will never forget. I was in the back seat watching him, and with complete confidence, he was sitting there, and I am not joking. He was driving the cab with his left and right knee. He was steering the car with his knees. His left hand was on his phone, texting. His right hand was eating a sandwich. And he was doing all of this like it was nothing. Smooth, effortless. Like he'd done it 1,000 times. I had to break the ice and hide my nervousness. So I said to him, "Gee, I've never seen anyone drive a car, text, and eat at the same time." And he looked at me and said, "Oh, that's nothing, I can do this. This, and this." And he gave me examples of taking it even a step higher. He explained to me, this is how everybody drives in California or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But he's not the only one. I've seen it with other people, not just cab drivers. And then there are moms. And not just moms, but that's who I've seen the most. They're cooking. They're paying attention to the kids. They're on the phone. They're doing laundry. And I'm standing there like, how in the world do they do all that? Some people's minds can do multiple things at a time. Mine cannot. My brain is one track, one thing at a time. But here's the twist. The same people who say I don't listen are the ones who get uncomfortable when I do. Because there's something else people have been complaining about me since I was a little girl.
They say that I stare at them. They say it creeps them out. And I say to them, I'm not staring at you. You're talking. You have my undivided attention. And they say, well, you're not blinking. And I say, well, I guess my eyes are not dry, I don't know. At first, it didn't bother me. But when I became an adult and started applying for jobs, I noticed it even more. I remember sitting in a job interview one time. The interviewer stopped mid-sentence, looked at me and said, "Why are you staring at me?" And I said, "You're talking, you have my undivided attention." And he said, "But you're not blinking." And that's when it really hit me. Everybody has been saying this my whole life, but my eyes do blink. They blink when they need to. It's just that when someone is talking, I'm looking straight at them. Not in a creepy, spooky way, but that's how they make me feel. I'm so focused on their voice, their body language, their energy, because I am a very intuitive individual. I'm reading more than just what my ears are hearing to them. It makes them uncomfortable, because it feels like I'm looking right into their soul. And maybe they can feel that. There are times I've even counted down in the back of my head just to make other people comfortable. 3, 2, 1, blink. So people won't feel uncomfortable. I know that sounds extreme, but people have made me feel like that. But I do blink. Really, I blink. It's just that if somebody is telling me something exciting like, I'm gonna give you a brand new house, you can stay there for 6 months until you get on your feet, I'm not gonna blink. Because what you're saying is a lot to process. That's a lot to take in. And it takes my brain, being that I have a one-track mind, a little while for that information to process, so I'm sort of stuck in that shock look. All you're gonna see are my eyes staring at you, because my brain is still loading. This has been happening since I was a little girl. I remember growing up in a house where they went to church, one of the foster families I had. We went to church, and the man that was preaching, the pastor, would ask me, "Why were you staring at me?" I was maybe 11 or 12 years old. I said, "Because you're talking, I'm listening. You're talking about the Bible. It's fascinating. The stories are interesting." And he said to me, "You need to blink or something." He told me that so many times. So this has happened ever since I was a little girl. And to this day, I'm still like that. But it's not that I'm staring at people. It's that when people are talking to me, my ears are listening to their voice and their tone. My eyes are paying attention to their body language. And my intuition is reading them.
I'm taking in the whole person. Maybe that's why it appears to be that way. Maybe it's something clinical too, because there are other people who do that. Some people multitask. Some people scatter. Some people juggle 10 things at once. Me, I focus. I lock in. I give you the whole spotlight, and somehow, that's the part that scares them. So today, we're gonna talk about it. Clinically, comically, honestly, because there's nothing wrong with the way my brain works. It's just wired for depth, not distraction. Welcome to the song.
So after years of people telling me I stare too hard, blink too little, focus too much, and can't multitask to save my life, I finally went to go see Dr. Blake, and here's what he had to say. Based on your attentional profile, what you're experiencing is a form of unimodal cognitive channeling, where the prefrontal cortex prioritizes singular task, new neural allocation over distributed multitask processing. Your sustained gaze is a manifestation of heightened sensory attunement and intuitive data acquisition, not a deficit. Y'all bear with me, I'm gonna try to pronounce these big old words. I didn't go to college anyway, Dr. Blake went on to say. Individuals with your new neurological pattern exhibit deep focus encoding, reduced blink frequency during high engagement states, and elevated intuitive perceptual integration. This is not pathological. It is simply a different attentional architecture. Now, if any of you are scratching your heads, wondering what any of those big fancy words mean, and don't worry, I did the same thing. So I looked at Dr. Blake and said, "Okay, can you please say that again in English? Or in I never went to medical school terminology." And he said, "You're not broken. Your brain just focuses deeply on one thing at a time. You listen with your whole mind, your whole intuition, and your whole energy. Some people split their attention. You don't. And that's okay."
I do one thing at a time, that's how I'm wired. If I'm locked in, I'm locked in, I'm not divided. Some folks juggle 10 things, I stay steady on one. My brain don't scatter, baby, brain gets it done. One lane at a time, that's how I move. Deep focus rhythm, that's my groove. You can call it strange, but I call it mine. I do one thing, one thing, one thing at a time. When I'm driving the whole road in my sight. Rear view, side view, brake lights, kids on bikes. Sirens in the distance, car stopping on a dime. I'm tuned in tight, like a clock on perfect time. So if you're talking about your cousin or your boyfriend's mess, I'm not being rude, I'm trying to keep us blessed. I'll pull over slow, put the car in park, turn towards you gentle, let the engine go dark. Then I'll say, now you got me, every bit of my mind. Cause I do one thing, one thing, one thing at a time. I do one thing at a time, that's how I'm wired. If I'm locked in, I'm locked in, I'm not divided. Some folks juggle 10 things, I stay steady on one. My brain don't scatter, babe, my brain gets it done. One lane at a time, that's how I move. Deep focus rhythm, that's my groove. You can call it strange, but I call it mine. I do one thing, one thing, one thing at a time. Then there's the star of the show, that California cab, steering with his knees like a multitasking dad. Left hand texting, right hand eating lunch, confidence so strong he didn't bridge once. He said, oh, that's nothing, I can do even more. Like he was auditioning for a circus on tour. Some folks juggle life like it's light as a dime, but I do one thing, one thing, one thing at a time. And then there's me, with the stare that don't blink. People getting nervous cause I actually think. I'm listening with my eyes, my intuition, my soul. Reading every layer that makes a person whole. Pastors, teachers, interviewers all said the same line. Why you staring like that? Like I crossed some sign. But I'm not staring, I'm listening, letting truth align. Cause I do one thing, one thing, one thing at a time. One thing at a time, that's how I'm wired. If I'm locked in, I'm locked in, I'm not divided. Some folks juggle 10 things, I stay steady on one. My brain don't scatter, baby, brain gets it done. One lane at a time, that's how I move. Deep focus rhythm, that's my groove. You can call it strange, but I call it mine. I do one thing, one thing, one thing at a time. I do one thing at a time, that's how I'm wired. If I'm locked in, I'm locked in, I'm not divided. Some folks juggle 10 things, I stay steady on one. My brain don't scatter, baby, brain gets it done. One lane at a time, that's how I shine. Deep focus rhythm, that's my design. You can call it strange, but I call it mine. I do one thing, one thing, one thing at a time. You have my undivided attention.
If you're talking, I'll pull over so I can hear you right.
You have my undivided attention.
If I'm staring, it's because I'm actually listening.
You have my undivided attention. I hear your words, your energy, and everything in between. You have my undivided attention. attention. If I'm staring, it's because I'm actually listening. You have my undivided attention. I hear your words, your energy, and everything in between.
You have my undivided attention. If you're talking, I'll pull over so I can hear you right.
You have my undivided attention.
If I'm staring, it's because I'm actually listening.
You have my undivided attention. I hear your words, your energy, and everything in between. You have my undivided attention. If you're talking, I'll pull over so I can hear you right. You have my undivided attention. If I'm staring, it's because I'm actually listening. You have my undivided attention. I hear your words, your energy, and everything in between. You have my undivided attention.
If you're talking, I'll pull over so I can hear you right.
You have my undivided attention.
If I'm staring, it's because I'm actually listening.
You have my undivided attention. I hear your words.